Hey guys, this is Mitch with FinePoint CGI, and today I wanted to talk about the Godot 4.0 OpenGL issue, right? Um, or at least, I guess, lack thereof issue, but also issue, right? If you guys haven't heard, the Godot team has decided to remove OpenGL support from Godot 4.0. So Godot 4.0 is not going to be releasing with OpenGL 3.0 or 2.0. But they do say that they are going to be implementing it in 4.1. So hopefully, when they do a maintenance release, which should be half a year, maybe a year later, they'll have OpenGL in the application. Now, they have talked about completely removing OpenGL ES 2.0, and in this case, they actually are going to be doing that. They're going to be no longer supporting OpenGL 2.0 with Godot 4 and onwards. So the question is, how does this affect us as users? How it affects desktops, it really doesn't. Looking at our OpenGL ES support, basically, if you've had my goodness, if you've had a device that was made back in, I think, if I remember correctly, OpenGL was released way back in the day, back in like 2008 or something like that. And basically, if you have a graphics card that's at all modern, you will be fine for a desktop release of your application. Now, that changes slightly when it comes to Android. So if we take a look at Android, about 10% of the market has OpenGL 2.0 only supported. Now, most of those devices are dying off, and like we're talking, if we go back to this Wikipedia page, we're talking, like a Nexus 4, a Nexus 7, Nexus 5, like the Samsung S4, way back in the day. Like this is back in, 2013 kind of era stuff. So we're talking, almost a decade old worth of stuff. So it makes sense to kind of move on, right? Now, with them not shipping OpenGL with 4.0, how is that going to affect us on mobile, right? Well, something that we need to keep in mind is if we scroll up a little bit, you can see here what Vulkan version that these devices can support. And you can see here 42% of the distribution does not support Vulkan. So my suggestion, at least as of right now, unless something changes, is to not use Godot 4.0 for any mobile development, at least until OpenGL is added into the Godot system. So what about iOS, right? Well, in terms of OpenGL 3.0, Apple has been supporting it since about September 2013. So support for OpenGL came out of the Apple A7. So if any device is newer than 2013, it will support 3.0. So that's good news. Now, what about Vulkan? Well, according to this article here by Extreme Tech, Apple has been very difficult when it comes to supporting Vulkan. Although Valve and Kronos have created a compatibility layer here that kind of allows your game to work under Vulkan on iOS. So that's the good news, is that there is support for it out on iOS. And looking at this Phoenix article here, the Vulkan SDK has now been formally available and now officially works with the Vulkan API. But this article was published in January 13th of 2021. So there's going to be a lot of legwork here to get Vulkan to work with Apple. And with other APIs such as like Molten VK, who's trying to bring Vulkan to iOS. There's a lot of fighting with Apple trying to get this to be supported. Instead, Apple's kind of moved more towards using their own system called Metal API. Now, if we look at the article here, the Godot team is going to be supplying builds based on Angle, which will allow it to be running on Mac OS, but exporting out for your games to work with iOS is going to be complicated, to say the least, at least until OpenGL 3 gets integrated into Godot. Unfortunately, unlike Android, where, at least we have, about a little more than half of the market share supporting Vulkan, iOS has Apple has straight up said, no, they're not going to do that. Now, the reason why this decision was made was because to implement GLES 2.0, it would require a mammoth amount of effort. 4.0 is a huge departure from 3.0 or from 3.3 in the sense that they basically rewrote the entire application. So it makes sense for them not to ship immediately with all of the features, only to add features later. Now, with Godot 4.1, they're talking about having a hybrid design. They're talking about, having good performance and things like that. It's not going to be supporting all the previous devices, that 10% that we talked about. But, give it 4 years and all those devices will most likely be gone anyway. But not all hope is lost. If you're a person that wants to use OpenGL ES2, you can use the older version of Godot 3.3, or some developers have been talking about supporting OpenGL 2 inside of Godot 4.0 as a separate branch. But it is not going to be integrated into Godot 4.0. You would probably need to have your own branch that you'd have to compile and things like that. So all in all, is this a problem? No, it's going to be fine. It's not the end of the world. At some point, we have to drop support for things, and it makes sense to do it now since Godot is going through this major rewrite. And, ultimately, I think it's going to be a good idea, and ultimately, I think it's going to be a good step for Godot. We're going to have some growing pains in the middle, but I think it's going to go over pretty well. So anyway, guys, that's all I have to say about this topic. And, if you like this video, hit that like button. If you dislike this video, go ahead and hit that dislike button, because I'm here to make content for you guys. Now, this is something that's kind of out of my wheelhouse, but I thought that it would be good for me to kind of have a conversation about this and kind of soothe some people's fears about how this is going. And, if you like me doing more industry news stuff, let me know. And I'd be more than happy to start maybe adding this as like a Friday video or something like that, so that, we could have more content on the channel and, you guys can get more industry news. But anyway, thank you so much again for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Thanks.